Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of AI Security Ops. So imagine that you wake up and you've got a bunch of new security vulnerability reports that were filed overnight. You spend your entire morning reading through them, checking code paths, trying to reproduce the issues, and you come up empty-handed. You find out every single one was just sloppily submitted to you without extra review. And that's exactly a problem that some of our bug bounty program partners are facing out in the industry today. And it's something we'll talk about in this episode. But before we get started, let's talk about Black Hills Information Security. If you or your organization are in need of any security services, whether that's external testing, internal testing, AD testing, web apps, physical pen testing, wireless, security operations center, any security needs you might have, check us out at blackhillsinfosec.com. Additionally, we have a training branch, Anti-Siphon, where our practitioners who are doing these things day in and day out package up their skills and knowledge in a very digestible way to put out to the public at a very affordable price. Check them out at antisyphontraining.com. So let's dive into this a little bit. So just to kick it off, first story is back in January of 2026, Curl, Daniel Stenberg, the creator of Curl, actually killed his bug bounty program that he had out. And the 6 years that he had it out, it paid out about $100,000 for 87 vulnerabilities that have been submitted. So it was a very successful program for them. But then things started to go downhill recently, where the valid submissions went from a 1 in 6 ratio to about a 1 in 20 ratio. And his breaking point was that he had 7 submissions in a 16-hour window, and none of those were real vulnerabilities, which he called death by 1,000 slops. So let's talk about what's contributing to something like this. And what do you guys think? Since we're on the AI Sec podcast, what do you think is a driving factor here?
Well, if you believe my X feed, the security has been solved by everybody and their brother's agentic AI platforms. So I don't know. The whole cybersecurity industry is now solved, I guess.
Yeah, we're all done. Yeah, we can go home.
Yeah. So I'll credit John Strand for this, but it's kind of akin to, you're running vulnerability scans and working on them, doing basically unauth vulnerability scans. And then all of a sudden you decide one day, hey, I'm going to give this thing creds and log into stuff and find vulnerabilities. And your vulnerability report went from 200 pages to 200,000 pages overnight. And then you said, the hell am I going to do with all this? So I think there's a difference between finding technically a vulnerability, and versus actually being able to take advantage of that vulnerability and exploit it and deliver some kind of impact, right? And so I think that still takes, obviously, a human, apparently. I mean, I'm not saying, like you said, AI seems to be finding some legit vulnerabilities. Apparently, the latest hotness the copy fail thing was found by some kind of partially AI excellent or something, right? But yeah, 1 in 20 is a pretty big ratio when you have to spend your time manually looking through all that stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, it takes real time, right? I mean, to tell the AI to go out and to do something is about, I think the scanner analogy is perfect. It's about the same amount of effort that it takes to tell a scanner to go out and do something at this point. I mean, maybe marginally more depending on how they're using the AI, but actually going through the output, that can take a lot of time. That's where a lot of real work can happen. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting bogged down right now. It's easy to generate content. It's a lot harder and more time consuming to actually review the content. So
editor's dilemma.
Yeah. And so Curl's not alone in this. I think they were actually part of the HackerOne program, which is what we'll mention now. I think that's where they withdrew their bug bounty program from, if I'm not mistaken. But HackerOne as a whole, as of March 27th, and as still of this recording, I checked, their program is actually still paused for new submissions because they're finding that they are spending just an exorbitant amount of time going through these vulnerability reports that are getting submitted by people, and have just been overloaded with the volume. And so they're having to work through how are they going to filter out basically the signal from the noise, right? And that's a difficult problem that I think a lot of people are currently trying to figure out, in the industry as a whole, is how do we strike that balance between keeping up with the pace of being able to quickly find and triage vulnerabilities, but yet still be able to separate out what's not important from that. And it's kind of a tough problem, right? What are your guys' thoughts, opinions?
Well, the HackerOne story came up in the regular newscast for BHIS, and I know that we did a lot of discussion about the fact that the Bug Bounty program rewarded people for finding vulnerabilities, but there isn't a bounty program or a reward system for the people who are performing the actual fixes. And now that a little more time has passed, it seems kind of like a silly, obvious solution would be to develop AI to reality check the submissions before then handing it off to a human for resolution. That would help take a legitimate load off of the humans. It would also help speed up the pipeline of getting legitimate issues into the hands of people who can actually fix them. But, the challenge there is going to be training a new model to identify what's a valid vulnerability versus what is let's call it vulnerability slop.
If AI is the problem, the solution is more AI.
That's typically how a data scientist would look at it. Yes, exactly. How do we protect AI? Well, we put more AI in front of it. Oh, sounds like a plan.
No, but I think, Bronwyn, you're onto something. Not necessarily like better training being the whole picture, but giving, like, if you are fielding bug bounty requests for a specific application, giving the AI access to a staging environment, a testing environment with your application that can take the reports and try to reproduce it. Like, is this even able to be exploitable? And that's like an immediate validation. But I mean, obviously that requires setting up more tooling. But it's the realm of possibility, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not just the model, it's also the harness, right? And I think at the end of the day, I'm still in the camp of it really takes a human to determine whether or not this is truly like a legitimate vulnerability. I think AI is a tool, and we shouldn't lose sight of that as technology workers, right? It's just a really fancy pattern matcher. It's very good, but the more you learn about how AI works, the more you realize it's not a person, it's not an entity, it's a really fancy pattern matcher. There's a lot of math going on, but that's really at the end of the day what's happening. And so I still think that, and I've spent a lot of time recently, you trying to develop custom agentic solutions to do, penetration testing work. And I've been really successful, but also sometimes you look at what the quote AI found, right? And you think, man, a human would have never thought this was an issue. This is not an issue, kind of thing. So, I mean, I think, yes, models are going to get better, harnesses are going to get better, but I think at the end of the day, as long as we're using transformers, like this is going to be an issue that there's just going to be a whole bunch of people who are pointing AI at stuff and going, see, it found a vulnerability, and not using what we would call like domain knowledge, like how much do you know about this thing, and applying that to it and being, figuring out, is this for real or not?
Okay, so I have a question because I've never participated in a bug bounty program. If I submitted to HackerOne, do I have to tell them how to replicate the error? Because if so, again, Derek, you hit the nail on the head. AIs are tools they're good at following sort of directions. And maybe if they have that roadmap to follow, then they can go, yes, the steps worked. No, it didn't. If they get a yes, that can bump it up, whatever weighting scale can be used to get things through the queue faster. Just a thought.
Yeah, so typically, I've only done bug bounties a couple times, but usually they ask for reproduce, like steps to reproduce, so that to make it quicker for their people to go through.
Yeah, I think the better your write up, the better the chances you're going to get paid. Right? It's like a little mini pen test, right?
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
And yeah, certainly. So I think that's, a good point as a first filter level is like, only taking reports that actually have the steps, the commands that are in them that allow for the AI to go through and reproduce without like error, to try to bump up certain submissions higher than others.
Yeah. If I was going to do it like right now, I'll just say our AI platform, right? Find something, it actually outputs for every single finding. Here are the commands that a human should use to go and verify this. So the human should go and use, those commands to go verify it. So to me, that's like the starting point, not the ending point for the vulnerability, right? And so I feel like, yes, okay, now a human has verified it. Can you actually cause like more impact with this? Can you, even though I try and have our platform tie stuff together, does this like have like more tie-ins to things? And so I think, to me, like you have like a human pen tester and an AI pen tester that, depending on what you're looking for, you might think that one's better than the other, but both of them together are better than either one by themselves, in my opinion.
That's what I was going to say too.
Oh,
like,
damn it. Sorry.
It doesn't have to be. No. I'm agreeing with you. It doesn't have to be adversarial. You mentioned earlier, like AI is a tool. And so, I mean, yeah, we should use it to make us better at our jobs. And as humans are really good at taking new tools and try to use them in ways they're not meant to be, or finding out the limitations. Like you have a hammer, everything starts looking like a nail.
You once told me about that with Jupyter notebooks, and I'll have you know that I still do use Jupyter notebooks.
Nice. Yeah. And I don't think we've found the limits yet, right? Of like where AI can stop being helpful. Like we've found limits, but not like the absolute, we can't progress any further or whatever. Like it's still changing at super rapid pace of both the innovations in the fundamental models and like what people are able to do with them.
Yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, I think that would be probably a good place to wrap up and close, and just say that, I mean, AI is definitely finding like real bugs. I mean, it is an extremely useful tool. Like we've said, it's great for augmenting, many different tasks, but it's important that we're still understanding that humans are still needed, and professional judgment is still needed in this space to be able to so we can augment one another, not try to replace or completely shift off tasks and responsibilities. So yeah, with that, I don't know, any other closing thoughts?
No, I'll just say with that, keep on prompting.
Keep on prompting.